March is known for the end of winter and the arrival of springtime, a season of warmth and renewal. For history buffs, it's also known for the date Julius Caesar met his last. But don't let time pass you by like a bunch of old Romans. Hello again, SA here. And I'm just here to remind you to get your copy of my book series, Glitch. It's available on Barnes & Noble and other fine bookstores, as well as Amazon. The links are down below in the description. And while you're out enjoying the spring weather, you can also indulge in my story of a kidnapped teen model and a reluctant jewel thief who are on the run from the law. Yeah, you don't have to guess. I still have other books coming down the pike. So as long as I don't run into any difficulties. You'll be seeing those books too, I'm sure. Now let's get back to the video.
Rorschach's Journal, October 12th, 1985. Dog carcass in alley this morning. Tire tread on burst stomach. This city's afraid of me. I've seen its true face. The streets are extended gutters, and the gutters are full of blood. And when the drains finally scab over, all the vermin will drown. The accumulated filth of all their sex and murder will foam up around their waists. And all the whores and politicians will look up and shout, "Save us." And I'll whisper, "No."
Hello again. SA here. What is a grifter? Well, it's basically a con man, confidence man, flim-flam man. Or, and it doesn't have to be a man, it's also going to be a woman. Yeah. A lot of cheats and criminals walking around in short skirts and high heels as much as walking around in a nice Brooks Brothers suit and $200 wingtips. And of course, the funny thing about grifters is they don't have to knock on your door trying to sell you some kind of timeshare or give you a random email from some Nigerian prince trying to get your bank account number. No, sometimes you can be a grifter just by pretending they're something that they're not. I mean, for example, people who like on social media, they tend to grift a lot. I mean, anyone who's ever been on Instagram knows that a lot of those people, especially those so-called fabulous e-girls on there, yeah, turn off all those damn filters and you really see what they look like. And believe me, Scarlett Johansson, they don't. And then, of course, there's people who will basically put on an act. Like Dylan Mulvaney. Yeah, that clown. Yeah, girl hood my ass. Yeah, believe me, if you stuck into his bedroom in the middle of the night, which I don't suggest you do, and pull up his chemise, believe me, you're going to see a cock and balls there. Yeah, no coup. No joke. Well, guess what? He's not the only one. Because just a few days ago, old Tim Pool highlighted a story from Not to Be by Joel Abbott about some millennial chick who was crying into her mocha latte about how she was broke and couldn't pay her rent. Yeah, in fact, I'm going to show you a little clip right now. You ready? Okay, here it is.
I think maybe we should just make a channel dedicated entirely to Gen Z in crisis. We have another viral video of a young person talking about how they cannot afford to live this way. And there's so much to break down in this. Now, there's certainly some people who are blaming this young woman and blaming many for voting for Joe Biden and voting Democrat over and over again. I certainly sympathize with that sentiment, and I would strongly encourage many young people to vote for Donald Trump and Republicans. Not that he's perfect, not that he's great. It's just simply the Democrat plan with a mass influx of criminal aliens who are being given government benefits, tax dollars that you were actually supposed to be inheriting. In terms of infrastructure and what this nation has to offer its young people, it's being given away. Inflation, war, conflict, crisis, none of it will improve your circumstances. And while Donald Trump certainly is not the most perfect guy, certainly a deeply flawed character, well, money talks. You vote for this guy, you're likely going to see the economy improve. And I think most people realize that now because during the Trump administration, economy actually was really great. Famously, Jim Cramer, who's basically wrong about everything all the time, said the best numbers of our lives. And it was true. Unemployment rates were low, but high enough to allow some flexibility in the job market. There's a lot to talk about in terms of culture as to why what we're seeing cannot be solved simply by elections at the same time. So the first thing I want to do is actually just play this clip so you can hear what this young woman has to say. I think it's very important, but then we're going to break down the problems that we're facing today. And I want to give some advice to young people like this young lady. So if you know anybody who's dealing with this stuff, consider sharing this with them. And we'll talk about ways to improve your position.
This is the first month I won't be able to afford rent. I'm not a rich person. I don't have a lot of stuff. I have basic household necessities, a couch, a bed, washer, a dryer. That's about it. A car. I don't have a lot of lavish things. I don't go on vacations and I don't spend a lot. Rent's increased from $1,300 to $1,800. The food prices are too high. I've cut back on eating because I literally cannot afford food. I've cut back on my favorite snacks, cat food, treats. I'm exhausted all the time from being overworked and underpaid. You don't catch a break when you grow up poor. I don't need much to be happy. I just want to be able to live comfortable. I just really need to catch a break right now. I'm trying so hard and I feel like I'm not doing enough. I don't have family. I don't have anything to fall back on.
She says, I don't have family. I don't have anything to fall back on. I'm going to have to address the most important element of this. Never in human history did young women go off and live on their own successfully. I will say this again. Never in human history. Now, for men, I would argue it's comparably true, but I think the issue is, well, in terms of societal structure and gender norms, men were always typically expendable. So a man that ended up living off on his own,
Okay, you saw that, right? Yeah. Now, some of you right now are probably saying, hell, that girl take herself down to the Mustang Ranch out there in Nevada, she'll have plenty of money in no time. I think she probably could get some more than more than a couple of tokens. Yeah, especially if she went down to hung out at the Sultan of Brunei's palace. Ooh, yeah, she'll definitely get a lot of money. She may not get out alive, but she'll get more than a bus fare, that's for sure. But anyway, a funny thing happened on the way to Gifts and Go for people who were actually feeling sorry for this blonde chick. Yeah. You know what it was? It wasn't real. And you say, what? Yeah. None of it was real. It was fake. And you say, what? Yeah. In fact, if you look right now, you'll see that the actual article from the Not the Bee, it looks kind of funny. You know why? And then you say, well, that's odd. The headline is there, but the article's not there. Yeah, I thought that was funny too. And then if you click the little button to say that see the original tweet, and it goes to Elon Musk's X, where you see there, wow, the tweet has been deleted. Makes you wonder why. Well, I'm going to show you why in 1 nanosecond. Because Tim Pool, have to admit, the guy may have been doing his regular shtick out of field reporting like he was back when he was with Vice, but the guy's still pretty sharp. He checked out this chick, and guess what he found out? She may be a lot of things, but broke ain't on the list. Now, this is a segment that was lifted from his IRL broadcast, which was broadcast, I think it's about like a day later. And here you go. And believe me, this is going to open your eyes. You ready? Here we go.
Later on in the show, because they're not the heaviest of news. But I think we are seeing with this story from Not the Bee, we are seeing Gen Z. We are seeing victory. I see a pattern here with this story. It is about a young Gen Z woman complaining she can't pay the bills, and I believe she is lying, but I believe that shows Trump is going to win. And I'll tell you why. There's a video that was posted by Wall Street Silver. I made a segment about it earlier where I talked about the general concepts around what a young woman could do if she can't afford to pay the rent, how society used to be, the fact that women never used to be single up until the 20th century. Like women did not live alone until the 20th century.
Well, there were spinsters and stuff. But
in the 20th century.
Yeah.
Before
exactly.
that,
they'd live with
most
their families.
people did not live alone. Even men did not live alone. And so now we have these young people. So that was the general idea. Upon actually recording and talking about the economy's bad, food costs too much, she says she doesn't go on vacation. She doesn't have luxuries. She can't afford her rent. She's crying. And I'm like, here we go. Joe Biden's economy is killing these young people. And so then I looked up her profile, and what did I find? She likely lives in a 2-bedroom. She has like 8 cats, and she's married and recently went on vacation. Now that said something to me right away. Oh, grifter, right? A lot of people were like, so this young lady right here is grifting and just trying to get sympathy to get views so she can make money. And then I thought to myself, why would she think making a video saying it's so hard, prices are so high, why would she think that's going to make money for her? And sure enough, it did. She's got millions of views on this post. I think it might be 4 million. Huh. I'll put it up in a second. It's either 1.5 or 4.3. I'll pull it up in a second. And then I realized something. Someone asked the other night, we were talking about Chris Cuomo and Patrick Bet-David. They hired him. And I said, look, when we start winning the culture war, the sycophants and sociopaths are going to start pretending they were always on our side. Mm-hmm. And they're going to try and make shows agreeing with us like Chris Cuomo is literally doing. He made a video where he's like, why did I sit down with Tucker? Because I believe in free speech. Oh, yeah. The guy who called for lockdowns, who lied about being in quarantine. No, what's going to happen is when they realize they're on the wrong side of history, they're going to run full speed and beg us to crawl into the doggy door. What we're seeing with this young woman, in my opinion, is a Gen Z person who's realized the popular narrative is Joe Biden has stabbed us all in the back. And if you want to get views, you better insult the economy and say everything's awful. She made another video where she's like, I'm undercover calling my apartment to figure out why prices are so high. And she says, how much does a 2-bedroom go for? And I'm like, wait.
Why do you want to know that one?
Why that one?
Right.
Yeah, right. So she's
you
crying.
mean you don't live in a studio apartment?
And then she has another video. She's like, here's all my cats. And she's filming like a bunch of cats. And I'm like, you're not broke. You're living in luxury. Someone else posted a screenshot of another segment, which I haven't confirmed. I haven't seen the segment, but she says, my husband and I are going on vacation. And I'm like, so she lied?
Yeah, it sounds
but
like a
it
lie.
worked.
Yeah.
As I've mentioned with people like Dylan Mulvaney, and no, we're not going to talk about that stupid music video. Dylan Mulvaney only does what Dylan does because the algorithm promotes it. So now, which is interesting, you have Gen Z people thinking, if I make a video complaining about the economy, I'm going to go viral and get a ton of followers. That says to me, the sociopaths are starting to move over assuming that we are on the right side of history and the path of success lies in criticizing Joe Biden and supporting Donald Trump.
What are her other videos look like? Is it just random content? Does she get a lot of views on her other content as well? Or is she just like chasing views? Is she? Or does she
I mean, I think it would be
4.3. It's 4.3 million.
Whatever gets attention, I'm going to
so
post it
she
up.
did really well with that one.
Yep.
But then that's why she made the second one about calling.
Take a look at this. If you look at all of her content, what do you see? 39,000, 36,000, 72,000.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
What is this one? Can someone please tell me where these jobs are? See, she has been like, okay, here's one like, where are these jobs? I don't see them. And it got 72,000 up from, some of her other content. My BFF came over, 33. When you see this type of guy, 45. My husband wanted an air fryer, 36.9. So she's a dual income household with a bunch of cats. And then she made, I know I'm not the only one like this right now. How are we supposed to do this? I don't understand. 4.3 million views. Young people have realized there is money to be made in pretending like you have been screwed over. And so the sociopaths are going to do it. This shows us one thing and will cause another thing. The first thing it shows is, as I've already stated, that these people are starting to, I don't think she's political at all. I think she just realized, oh boy, I'm going to go viral if I do this.
Yeah, she saw a lot of people were talking about it.
There's tons of stories.
This is why Biden wants to ban TikTok.
Potentially, now that's turned against him. Israel is the real reason, mind you. But sociopaths and grifters are now trying to make money by saying, "Oh no, I've been so wrong. Look at all the cats. How many cats are in here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then
it's not less than 10,000 views.
7,000 views. She has 8 cats.
One room of her apartment is just all litter boxes.
Here's what this does, though.
The most I ever had was 3 cats, and it felt like 1,000.
This is a cascade effect. More people are going to see 4.3 million views, and they're going to go, "This is how I get followers. This is how I go viral."
Yeah.
Okay, I guess you've probably seen enough, because that segment with Tim and his panel goes on for more than a little while. But yeah. And of course, if you were listening, you saw why the woman did it. To get likes and retweets. Because she clearly must have been some leftist or some liberal who probably was a Joe Biden voter, not necessarily supporter, but definitely voted for the clown. And she probably, like a lot of these grifters, saw the writing on the wall and said, more and more people are complaining about how they're basically sleeping in their shoes and they can't keep the heat on and the lights on in their place, and they don't know what they're going to do when the damn bill comes due. Now, of course, anyone who's my age remembers Sanford and so used to have a solution for that. When the bill comes in the mail, Fred Sanford would take a look at the bill and say, "Go and put the bill back in the mailbox." Yeah, well, maybe you could have done that back in 1973, but nowadays, no. But still, it's kind of sad when you think about it, because according to Tim, that segment of his, this woman actually was doing pretty good on TikTok. So then you say, why she make such a fake video complaining that she's broke when in fact the woman's actually doing pretty well? In fact, I noticed something. When I first saw that segment on the regular Timcast segment, I thought the video was funny because I was looking at the background and I did notice, for someone supposed to be broke, they live in a really snazzy place. And that was probably the first hint that there was something fishy about the video. I mean, if you're going to be pretending you're broke, I mean, you have a place looking sort of like this place. Which I'm not going to get into why this place looked like a hurricane hit it, but let's just say this: I'm not on TikTok with over 1 million followers like this chick was, and therefore I don't have $1 million in the bank to play around with. Because indeed, when Tim, I guess when he found out what the deal was, apparently Joel Abbott, who wrote the article for Not the Bee, apparently someone must have reached out to him and told him, "Hey man, you just got played. I mean, this girl ain't broke. Man, this girl's living in some penthouse apartment somewhere back east. She's got 1 million cats in her house, and she's married. Which means that she's probably in a 2-income household. So, yeah, unless this woman is taking every penny of hers and going down to the liquor store and just buying lottery tickets like there's no tomorrow, she ain't broke. And indeed, Tim showed one of her videos where he said that she and her husband were talking about they had just planned on going on vacation. And this was before she made the damn video complaining she was broke. And then you say, well, why people do that? Because, just like Tim says, some people, they figure, why should I just muddle along on social media with 1 million followers when I can get 1 billion followers like a Cutie Pie? Or someone like that. In other words, sometimes enough isn't enough for some people. Now, of course, if she was on X, she probably could have got at the very minimum a community note saying that this hoe ain't broke, that she's living the life of Riley better than most people in this country, and therefore you should ignore this cunt. And you know what? People should do your due diligence, because this, like I said, this crap has happened before, and sometimes people have gotten away with it. Like there was that case that happened a few short years ago where this nice white couple complained that they were broken down on the street corner somewhere, and some homeless guy gave him his last $20. And I'm thinking, well, that door doesn't pass the smell test, because most homeless people don't have $20, and if they did, it won't have it very long. They'll go down to Tyrone over there at the crack house and throw the money away for a couple of rocks of crystal meth or some shit like that, and take out the meth pipe quicker than Hunter Biden and smoke it up. And of course, if you remember that case, so many people felt sorry for the homeless guy that before you could say Joe Blow, was it Patreon, I think it was, collected, I think it was like over $300,000 for the homeless guy, except it was all just a grift. And the two people, the so-called nice white couple and the homeless guy, were all in on it. But then they started arguing over the money, because I think the original plan was they were just going to get like a couple of $1,000s and split it between themselves. And then when it went into like 6 figures, then everyone started looking at each other real funny. And then, of course, when they start arguing over the money, then John Law stepped in. They all got in trouble for grand larceny. And I'm thinking, good. Now, the only question is this. Did this skinny blonde woman tell people to go to Patreon or Gifts and Go to give her money? Now, if she went that far, then you know what's going to happen next. But as far as Tim is concerned, he thinks that she was just trying to get likes and retweets on cotton picking TikTok, which is just ridiculous, especially considering current events. But yeah, grifters come in all shapes and sizes. And they don't have to call you up on your phone trying to sell you some brand new appliance that will do everything for you, including blow you if you ask it real nice. Nope. There could be people on social media pretending they're something they're not, namely broke. Well, okay, I guess that's all I'm going to say about that blonde, silly woman trying to fool people on the internet. And that's my opinion.